So we know how to get essentially the outline of the property. Now we're going to look at some of the more nitty-gritty technical bits that we require from you, and also what our clients require from you on a floor plan. So we're going to start in the kitchen here. We've got this fantastic island here. We've also got a great kitchen countertop behind us. Quick tips generally. Most kitchen countertops are going to be 600 deep. If you're not too sure, just measure them. It's always better to be safe than sorry. This is meant to be an accurate representation of the property. We've measured this behind us and we know that it's 0.63, which is fantastic. So going back to the kind of floor plan drawing to scale kind of stuff, we know that 0.6 is going to be 3 tiny little squares. So drawing that should be relatively easy. Looking at this island now, we know that it's not 0.6 and we can eyeball that just looking at the different width of this in comparison to the countertop behind me. This is a metre. I wasn't sure, so I got the laser measurer out and I measured it. So it is a metre in its size. And then across we measured as well, it's 2.2. So we've basically drawn one big square, 2 big squares for the length of it, and a tiny little one on the end to make the rectangle, and that's our island. So looking at some of the other stuff that we've got in this kitchen, we've got the tap and the kitchen sink here, but we also have a hob as well, and they should be appearing up on your screen on what they look like as a drawing now. So we're in the reception room. Drawing the floor plan now, we've already got the kind of outline for this big open plan room and space. But we've got these shelves. This is an interesting one. So when measuring the room, it's always best to measure into the shelves, right to the back, because that's the wall. We display the shelves as essentially what you would display in the kitchen, which would be like a normal countertop. Measure this up. We've measured this is 0.48, so 0.5 if you wanted to round it up. But we've drawn this as 2 tiny little squares because it's not quite the width and depth of a kitchen countertop. So draw it as 2 tiny little squares, and what we do, you can either put shelves, or what I've done in the past is just put ledge, which is just the universal sign for there's something here. It's not a thick wall. You can put things like books on it, as you can see. So that's how you would draw things like shelves. We've got some cupboards and doors underneath that. Again, universal sign for those cupboards and doors is going to be just the swinging open symbol, which will appear on your screen about now. So what else is on this wall? Fireplace. So this is now turning from the shelves to a thick bit of wall. We would draw that as a thick bit of wall, which would essentially be the same kind of process as doing and drawing that kitchen countertop, except we just shade it in so we know that it's a solid piece of wall. With something like this is looking like it's 6 inches. We did measure it, and it was just a little bit over. It was, I think it was 0.7 in terms of meterage. So we've drawn that, but again, we put this as a ledge. Or you can also put something like FP for fireplace, or just write out fireplace or fire mantle. Absolutely fine, not a problem. And then exactly the same for the other side here. We've got the shelving units again, all inbuilt, which is key. So if it is inbuilt, make sure to include it, because the client might get here, or the potential client who's wanting to rent the property or buy the property might think, oh, that wasn't on the floor plan, and it's here, and it does exist. So make sure you put anything that's inbuilt and permanent on the floor plan, and you won't go wrong. So we're in the ensuite of the master bedroom now. The kitchen and the master bedroom have probably some of the most complicated bits of detail on a floor plan. So let's have a look at the room, see what we've got. Double vanity, his and hers, which is very posh indeed. With that, like the kitchen, what we would do is we would draw the rectangle. It's not a solid wall, so we're not going to shade it in. What we will do is on top of that rectangle, we will pop the universal sign for the bathroom sinks rather on top there. What else have we got? We've got a toilet here. this is one of two variations of a toilet. So pop that in. You've got the shower. This is a relatively large shower, so drawing it somewhat accurately is good. If you want to measure it, fantastic, but as time goes on, you're going to know roughly the sizes. You can kind of eyeball that. And then we've got the big bath here, which is quite luxurious, so that's going to be definitely in there. And then the last thing to do is to pop on the door, really. You want your privacy in your bathroom, obviously, so having a door is going to be key and on there. Don't forget to name the room as well, bathroom. And yeah, that's drawing a bathroom. So in the second bedroom now, let's see what we've got in here. Big standout for me is going to be this inbuilt wardrobe. So we're going to pop that in on the floor plan. We've already got this outlined, as mentioned in a previous video. What we do have is behind us, we've got the big old windows. So that's definitely going to go in. But what is quite interesting is that on these windows we have these ledges. Now we've mentioned ledges before. The thing to do is obviously to draw it as the rectangle and then just put ledge on there, or L if you fancy. So you know that it is a ledge here. We've also got this big piece of wall here which actually comes into the room and it steps in. So how we would draw that, we would literally measure everything up, make sure that it's all super accurate, and then colour it in as if it were a fireplace. Obviously, because we're not putting something like FP next to it, they know that it's not a fireplace, so that's absolutely fine. They know that it's just a bit of wall thickness. Yeah, don't forget to name that room as bedroom 2. So walk-in wardrobes, interesting, really interesting space. What we've actually got here, funnily enough, is some sliding doors. They're all the way back now, so definitely include these sliding doors. This would count as essentially a separate room. You would want to measure, all the way to the back here, so all the way through to this back wall. That's where you want to measure. Just so you can show how actually big the walk-in wardrobe space is. With walk-in wardrobes as well, if they've got doors on them, put the doors on, but just make sure that you name it walk-in wardrobe. And then what you can also do is, with all of these inbuilt units, draw those rectangles as if it were like a ledge, and what you can do is you can put like wardrobe space, hanging units, etc. Make sure you name it so it's not confused with like just generic storage space, and yeah, you'll be absolutely fine.